wanted to make sure they knew how to do the life table that we gave you the example of on your PowerPoint from section 9.2 in chapter 9. So here's your table again, the life table. Note we have a column here for the age interval of lifespan, and then the identified cohort, meaning 0 be the have not completed 1 year of life. The row 2 has the age interval of 1, they've completed 1 year of life, and then completed 2, and so on. So each row, we've got to do the calculations where you have a lowercase L sub x, means the number of individuals alive at the beginning of that particular year of life. So each row is a separate year of life, getting older and older and older as we go down. And then lowercase d sub x is the number that die during that first year of life. Q sub x is, as it says here, the probability of dying during x. Let's look at a couple of the math formulas that we see that Q sub x is merely the d sub x, the number that died, over the number that were alive at the start. So we have 26 divided by 46 is equal to 0.57. Simply the division of the dx over the lx gives you 0.57. Now, need to know that your q sub x plus the lowercase s sub x, which is the number of surviving, the death probability of dying plus the probability of surviving, is the same as a heads or tail flip of the coin. They've got to add to 1. So if the probability of dying was 0.57, we simply subtract that from 1, as you see on the formula here, and 1 minus 0.57 gives you 0.43. Easy math. Now we come over to the last 3 columns, and these are big L sub x and capital T sub x. These 2 columns here, big L sub x and big T sub x, are used to calculate the final goal of our life table, which is life expectancy, which they have represented by lowercase e sub x. That's expectancy for that particular row or year of life. We see, for instance, the first row, it's 1.37. How did we get that? Well, we used big T sub x for that row, which is 63. We divided it by survivorship, the number surviving, or the number alive, lowercase L sub x, the number alive at the beginning of that year. So here's big capital T sub x, which is 63, divided by 46, which is the lowercase L sub x. So 63 divided by 46 gives us the 1.37. Let's go to an easier one. 1.50 is pretty easy to calculate. So we see big T sub x for that row is 30. And we look all the way over to our lowercase L sub x, and we see that is 20. Well, 20 go into 30, 1.5 times. So 30, which is the T sub x, over the 20 is 1.5. So 30 divided by 20 is 1.5, and so that's how we get the life expectancy. They're expected to live 1.5 years more on the average. So that's the simple steps and equations of your life table. Let's go through the cumulative sum calculation to get big T sub x. First of all, we got to look up here for how do we calculate big L sub x? How do we calculate big L sub x? We see that's simply the number alive at that row plus the number alive for the next row, year of life, divided by 2. So it's the average number alive for that row and the next row. So let's go over and see how do we get 33 for big L sub x. Well, we see 46 is the number for L sub x on that row. 20 is the number of L sub x on the next row. So we say 46 plus 20 divided by 2 gives you 33. Let's give another example. We see big L sub x was 16 for row 2. How do we get that? 20 plus the 12 below it is 32. 32 divided by 2 is 16. So there's the formula and where the numbers come from. Now, how do we get big T sub x? It's defined as the cumulative sum of the column big L sub x starting at the bottom. That's critical. We start at the bottom. So we go all the way down to the bottom. We see for the last year of life, there's none alive, so that's easy. The cumulative sum is 0. We go backwards now to the previous year and say 0 plus the 1 number alive for big L sub x is 1. Go to the next year, that cumulative sum of 1 plus the row big L sub x value of 4 gives you a cumulative sum of 5, and we go 5 plus 9 is 14, 14 plus the 16 is 30, 30 plus the 33 gives you 63. So that is the simple math of how we get the big T sub x. And once more, as we close, we see life expectancy, E sub x, is equal to that big T sub x divided by the row lowercase l sub x. So again, an easy one to do might be the bottom one, next to the bottom. We see a big T sub x, 1, divided by 2, which is simply 0.5. So those are the simple math steps to calculate your life table. Now let's give some examples. For instance, if we give you a problem where we leave this 26 value here blank, you're given that started off you had 46 alive. The next year you had 20 alive. How many died during the first year? Well, if you only had 20 left from the original 46, we go 46 minus 20 is 26. So you work it backwards and forward. You say 20 plus 26 gives you 46. 46 minus 26 gives you 20. 20 minus 8 gives you 12. 12 minus 6 gives you 6. And we could go backwards. 2 plus 4 gives you 6. So those are the simple math steps of how we get all of those values.